the swarm stuff, it's always interesting to see how well a team lives up to its motivational posters. And sometimes they fall flat on their face pretty quickly. I think that to me is a sign of a good coach. How well do you live up to your motivational posters?
Yeah.
Because you do. Every coach has like a theme word or whatever, T-shirts printed up going into camp. And the swarm mentality, which he brought with him from the 49ers, is one that guys are either gonna buy into it and believe it, or they're gonna be just like cynical bastards and just think that they're too good to be, they're too good, and pro players are a step above having to try hard or something like that. Really bad culture that can seep in.
Yeah,
that was a swarming football team. I think, and especially defensively, it just shows up more defensively because there's less structure to it.
Yep.
But guys flying to the ball, it's what allowed that defense to get away with being horrendous tacklers. Like that was I feel if they could clean up their tackling technique while also still swarming, that alone could be worth 5 to 10 notches in the defensive rankings at the end of the year. I do, though. I do think that because they trusted everybody else to swarm, though, too, I think maybe guys were a little bit more kamikaze and coming up and taking their shots because they trusted that there'd be 2 or 3 other guys coming next to them. And it's hard for me to admit it, but I do think, because I love old school form tackling. I do think there is perhaps there's some validity to that. They're like, all right, listen, we want guys to come up and get big hits, and to do that, you got to shoot your shot, and it might not be perfect, but as long as you got other people coming in to clean up the scraps, go ahead and shoot your shot.
Swarm is greater than, 20 greater thans. Swarm greater than, smart, tough, dependable.
Yeah.
As a catchphrase goes, it's no contest. It destroys it.
I mean, if anything, just because you can visualize swarm,
plus it's a group thing.
Right. Yeah, and it's a group thing, too. But when you say swarm, you know what you're talking about. Smart, tough, dependable, it's like, okay, I have to write an essay on what this means. It's not necessarily something you visualize easily.